Hi, my name is Chris Boyer, and I'm a graduate student at Azusa Pacific University. And for the purposes of PE 570, I have a discussion post that I am submitting this video response, and I'm to describe the key points that I've learned from a video. The video was in regard to lawsuits that are created from sports, lawsuits from players towards coaches, coaches towards players, players towards refs and districts. And it was a really interesting video because it showed a couple situations, some of which kind of struck home because they're close to home. One of them was a pitcher from Corona Del Mar High School. So Corona Del Mar, I was raised in South Orange County, and we actually still compete against Corona Del Mar, so it's really close to home. And to hear this lawsuit, I'm not sure what year the video was made in, but it was about a pitcher who the father sued the coach for overplaying his son because his arm later got hurt. The video was really interesting how it showed that, the coach said that he never heard the player even complain in any way about any arm pain until he got the lawsuit against him. So a parent choosing to sue a coach for overplaying his kid. And I just think that was fascinating to hear that. It was kind of scary because I know that some of my players, I play them all the time. And to imagine someone getting hurt, even I had a player hurt in last weekend's game that he broke one of his toes in a game. And so that is concerning when you hear that type of thing. Another case within the video was a basketball player whose father sees his son as being super, super talented and that he had a future potential to play in college and in the NBA, but the high school coach wouldn't even let him on the varsity team. In the video, it talked about how that was probably the father's belief was it because nepotism, or basically playing other people, favoritism, biased for family and friends reasons. And so there's another one with football where this was in Florida in particular, and the team with 2 seconds left, the clock ran out and they thought they won, but then the refs put 4 seconds or a few seconds back on the clock because the player had taken off their helmet. And then what happened was that the team who was down was able to kick the field goal and they won the game. And so the parents decided to get together and sue for that. And it was just really interesting because, again, playing sports, there's all sorts of situations where refs make bad calls. I mean, I make mistakes as a coach, and every single game I see refs making really bad calls. And even in this past tournament, I had a situation where a ref took away one of our goals, gave us the ball back, and it was just the most random, unique scenario. I've never seen it happen before. I told the aquatics director who was running the tournament, I said, you've asked him, have you ever seen this happen before? He said, no. I'm like, you will never see it happen again because this is not the right call. He stood by his decision, and I tried to be respectful in the moment. We ended up losing that game, and that was a game-turning call, so I understand what it would feel like, but to consider suing over something like that would be completely unimaginable to me. So that's what I saw in the video, that there was just lawsuits going each direction, and even that CDM pitcher, later on the coach sued the father. So those cases were dismissed. All three of those cases were dismissed. They were not upheld. In the case with the pitcher from CDM, the coach sued the father of that pitcher for basically making it really hard. I mean, that coach has to go to all sorts of litigation to defend himself, and it defames him in a big way. So I don't know what happened with that lawsuit, but they didn't say. But the interesting thing is that, it turned around and the lawsuit's going the other direction now. So it says, describe what changes you may consider in your approach as a result of the video. I think number one is I need to be very concerned with the well-being of my athletes. I think everything from small injuries that happen in practice, complaints, those need to be all taken very seriously. And I think it's very good that when a player has a complaint that we bring in an outside source like our athletic trainer. And so that's one practice I do. If a student comes up, they have an abrasion on their knee or something hurts, they have an ache of some sort, I say, can you go see the trainer about it? That way, there's another person who is qualified in that area, because I'm not a medical professional in any way. So I'm not going to be the one telling him that he's okay to play. So as far as changes, that's what I'm already doing. That's what I do. But this video helps heighten my concern with the fact that I really need to give special attention to complaints that happen about a student's well-being, just in regard to the pitcher's shoulder. I think that's really important. Also, I need to communicate to my students, giving them areas of improvement for starting lineup, varsity cuts. There has to be a rationale behind every single decision. And I think that we should do that anyway. And we may have rationale, but we don't necessarily articulate it well. And so based on this video, it reminds me and helps encourage me to make sure that I have a solid rationale and it's being well communicated, that I'm articulating the reasons behind why I'm choosing to do what I'm doing. And it's especially important when it comes to playing time and cuts. And so I need to be able to give concrete reasons why. Why did you cut my son? Or why did you choose him over this player over my son? Or why did you not give my son playing time? And I have to be able to give them a reason and concrete things they can work on in order to make that starting lineup or make the team next season. But I think that communication and rationale are very important. Finally, what suggestions do you have for coaches currently in the field? So it's easy to answer that question because I'm a coach and I could just speak into my own life and speak to myself. Is like in this last weekend's game, I had a student break his toe, and I actually pulled him out of that game because I could see he slowed down. He didn't pull himself out. I pulled him out, asked him what was going on, pulled him out for the rest of the game. I could see something was wrong with his face, with his disposition. So his best interest is what I need to be concerned with. And so I think that that's good for me to look at in all cases, whether it's a strained muscle or if it's someone who is complaining about a back injury, that we make sure as coaches that we are really looking out for that individual's best interest and not short-term gains. So I think the best term that I could think of to apply to that is being above reproach as it pertains to the student's well-being. Make sure that we're above reproach, that we're being cautious and conservative when it comes to our playing time and how we handle situations with students' well-being. And then the next thing I would say is just being above reproach as well in the area of conflict. So bringing in many advisors. And so there's a biblical verse that says, with many advisors, success is assured. And I might be butchering that a little bit, but the point is that we are, as the video said, which made me laugh, was that we are in the United States of lawsuits. Instead of the United States of America, we're the United States of lawsuits. And we really, as coaches, need to be above reproach in every way and pull in many advisors as it pertains to our decision making, as it pertains to our conflicts. And I think that with our players and their well-being and their playing time and our selection, that we need to have many advisors. And that way we have a bunch of people we're able to articulate with our peers, articulate with our advisors what our rationale is, and be able to kind of bounce our thinking off someone else. That way it has been talked about, thought through, and it's able to be justified, and we have something to stand on in order to make decisions with varsity cuts, playing time, player positions, and things like that. So thank you for your time, and hope you guys have a great day. Take care.